Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Monday, not quite a Monday mashup, but not far off it. Joining me, as always, from Stockley Park in West Dublin, the now current reigning, defending FA Cup champions. Marky, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, cuz. How are you keeping? Not a bad weekend overall, was it?
Yeah, listen, I had a disaster of a weekend because I was working on the realm here all weekend, and there was just gear everywhere, and it was actually frightening. I didn't realize how far I had pushed the collection during COVID.
That's not a
And
bad thing, though.
I tell you what I did find. I bought a custom pop during COVID, a Funko Pop,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
David Beckham in the grey suit the day
No
he
way.
announced he had bought Inter Miami.
Miami,
And
no
it
way.
and it's an Inter Miami box, custom box and everything.
Ah, class.
Very, very, very cool now.
Have you
So I
got a
might have
messy
to.
one beside it as well?
Now I have to get a messy one. I have to get the messy one and the Inter one to put it beside it as well. But very, very, very cool. Like forgot I even had it. I have an Elvis one there as well. I don't know where it is.
Ah, class.
Man, you should see the floor and everything's just covered. This is just an
That's
illusion for
dead.
tonight. But yeah, see, I'm still waiting on lighting for the back wall and stuff like that now. But
Ah,
you
looks
see, your
class.
trophy there is over the shoulder.
I
The
seen
World
that
Cup, the
there, yeah,
World
yeah.
Cup one is hidden at the moment. It's behind my back. It's there. Look,
Ah,
I know
okay,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I will
there
have to
somewhere.
get you.
There it
Have
is.
to get you a few more for down there, cuz.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you come across a few strays that the back of them is missing and stuff like that, no, it's all good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see.
no, we're pretty cool. But yeah, welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. If you could subscribe
I'll
to the
put this down
channel,
now. I'll just one
hit the
more.
bell
Yeah,
notification. You should have had it sitting on the back of the couch or whatever.
that's it.
Um, but yeah, we're going to be going through anyway, folks. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like in the video, all that good stuff. We are going to be coming to you all summer. Going to be a variety of different shows and stuff like that. We're going to figure out what we're going to do kind of week on week, see where it takes us. So if you do have any suggestions, please let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. Now anything of interest. Nothing too silly and stuff like that and all. So so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to do a review of the FA Cup final. We're going to be talking about Leeds versus Southampton. Very
Mm.
interesting as well. We're going to be talking a little bit about the managerial situation at the moment. It seems to be all over the place at the minute. Few suggestions coming in from people and stuff like that. We will get Marky's thoughts on the Champions League final as well because we won't see him before that again. So we'll get his thoughts on that. Darren and me will be previewing it on Thursday.
Lovely.
We'll go into the chat now in a second. I also want to obviously the news of Pep leaving in 2025. And there's a few other bits and pieces there. Mark, we're going to be getting your memories of the 99 treble season, 25 years this
Dead.
week. 25 years this week. Where has that time gone?
Mad.
Mad. Mental. And I,
25
I,
years.
I brought a few pictures in just to refresh our memory as well. So
Oh,
when
I
people
remember it well.
when people moan about me and stuff like that, I was the first one to say congratulations on winning the cup. I'm sitting here on a podcast with that background. I have all the stuff here, so sometimes I have to
And
bend over
who
a
was the
little.
first one to congratulate you on the win in Istanbul?
Well, you were here drinking with me, weren't you? So
It would have been rude if I didn't, huh?
it would have been rude not to. Yeah, absolutely. We won't get into that. Jesus, what a night. Now, getting into the chat, Daz, big up, Daz. How are you, my
How are
friend?
you,
Daz, we're going to
Daz?
be
What's the
talking
story, pal?
wrestling on Wednesday. We're going to be doing a review of King and Queen of the Ring, but also Double or Nothing. Absolutely crazy. And the interesting one, Daz, I said to Darren today that he's doing a review of AEW and he said he quit the podcast if I made him
Yeah,
do.
I know if Ian knows in the comments, I know he doesn't like talking about wrestling like this, but I do see that Gangrel came back to his rescue Edge. It came up on my feed for some reason.
Madness.
Thank you
Madness.
very much, Morris. Much appreciated. How's the campaign trail getting on?
There we go. This is the campaign trail is going well. Actually, he's on Twitter
Lovely.
having a go off a lot of local politicians at the moment and stuff like that. I think
Love
he's.
it.
I would suggest he's taking this way more serious than he initially suggested. And I'm just
It's
putting that
always the
out there.
case.
Right. Here's the debate that's going around at the moment. United better season than Arsenal confirmed. What do you think? I had this debate on our WhatsApp group on Saturday, and I said trophies are the standard. That's the standard for clubs, especially the bigger clubs. Trophies is the standard.
Yeah, Craig. I was texting Craig on Saturday, Yvonne's brother. He does often be in the comments here, and he was just saying about Arsenal and this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, Ten Hag has more trophies than Arteta. And I said, in fairness, in actual fact, I have more trophies than Arteta, which isn't a lie. But now,
So do I.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, listen. Obviously, trophies are the standard that you want to set. It's obviously nice to finish in the top four of the Champions League places. Not like for a club, not just for the prestige of it as well. You have to think about revenue and stuff like that as well, and sponsorship deals and stuff getting over the line and all. But yeah, listen, if you see my reaction over the weekend and stuff like that, I take trophies all day long.
Yeah, for me, that's the benchmark. I mean, this is what we talk about. This is what we judge teams about and stuff like that. I mean, unless you're outside of kind of that top 5 or 6, like if we're talking about a Brentford or a Brighton or teams like that and stuff like that, it's a different conversation. But if you're having a
Absolutely.
conversation about United or Liverpool or Chelsea or Arsenal or City or whoever it is, the conversation is always about trophies, and that's the way it should be. And we should never drop the ball on that. And funny enough, I was talking to Greg. Greg was on with us last Monday, remember, for the show,
Yeah,
going through our
yeah,
team stuff. I was talking to Greg on Saturday, and I was saying, "What do you think?" And he was going, first of all, there's no way United will have a better season than Arsenal, even if they win the FA Cup. It changed a little bit once you won it.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
saying, he was out in full force, hammering in over Chelsea dropping into the conference, hammering Newcastle over dropping out of the European spots after posting so much stuff on Twitter last week, Newcastle United and all. So it was gas to see. It really was. And it was
I
fun.
said to you last week, was you go into any club and you do the tours of the stadiums, the Roll of Honour wall. There's no second place, whatever amount of points, 89 points or whatever. It's all the trophy you won, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, even charity shields and stuff like that. It's all on that Roll of Honour. There's no second place, third place, and also,
No.
if you think about it in that way as well.
I suppose the only way you might justify it, if you wanted a long shot argument for me, would be if you make it to the Champions League, but you actually feel you have a possibility of going on and winning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I don't think, I know we can't predict the future and stuff like that and the draws and all this kind of stuff and all. But I think for most of us, we would be fair in saying we don't expect Arsenal to win the Champions League next season. So I
Possibly not.
think so. So
Possibly not.
the case against that is you come second, you go in the Champions League, you go on that run, and then you end up going out. Would you give up that run for that FA Cup?
Cup, yeah.
And I said to people, I said to Darren today and all, I was well jealous on Saturday. I love going Wembley finals, FA Cup day. Now I know it hasn't got the shine it used to have,
Used to,
but you
yeah,
can kind of create that shine yourself within your own household
yeah, yeah.
if you want. You'd be there with the kids, they'd be all decked out in the gear, probably have a coffee table full of all sorts of treats and junk and everything and all, few beers, the whole lot and all, and having a great time and all. So you can create that yourself still, that magic. We were talking about the other day the way they used to go. Remember they'd have the team breakfast stuff and all in the morning, and then the
Football
team would go
Focus
for
used
the
to be there.
walk, and then they do the walk around Wembley,
Yeah.
and the reporters would follow them around. It'd be a whole day thing. The build up would be unreal. Like.
Yeah.
And I miss that. I really miss that.
And in fairness, they're trying to bring it back slightly, because remember a few years ago they'd have it on the same weekend as Premier League games as well, and it just took the shine off it, like you said.
Absolutely.
And like back in the day, sure, like I said last week, I said last Monday, they brought out the songs and stuff like that, and it just used to be unbelievable, like.
Yeah, Morris comes in. Trophyless good seasons are Spurs talk. That's me. I'm convinced that this talk of good seasons without trophies to me is a loser mentality. It really is a loser mentality. And listen. I followed Liverpool all through the 90s and all, where our cup finals every year was the matches against you guys and all that kind of stuff. And we totally lost our way, and it took us years to get back and all and stuff like that. But that is the benchmark. Trophies is what you're remembered for. You know what I mean? I mean, we can't turn around and have a go off Harry Kane because he doesn't win trophies. And then when it comes to discussing our own clubs, go, oh no, but it's not the same for us. It's exactly the same.
Yeah,
Every season, we have a reset. We all start on the same amount of
Yeah.
points. We all start in the same positions. All this kind of thing, and that's where you end up. City players were on a 3-day bender before the FA Cup final.
Well, they did one night out. They had the Sunday night out after they won it, and they went down till about 5 a.m. on the Monday morning. Then they were back in training on Tuesday. But yeah, they did look tired at times, but it wasn't a 3-day bender races.
Yeah, it wasn't what they said. But before we get into before we get deep into the show, let's give it Hogan Elite Trophy our sponsor.
Yeah, obviously the FA Cup got a few pictures here over the weekend and stuff like that. We've a few events coming up, and obviously we're in Longford now on the 15th of June for the United Legends game against the Longford Legends game. So that should be a good one. Morris is in the chat. I'll be talking to Stephen Kenny next week if you want me to ask him any questions for you there, Morris. But Mike Phelan's coming over for the first time. He's going to be managing the United Legends, so that's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
Paul Parker's going to be there as well. Obviously, part of the 92-93 Premier League winning team, the very first year they done it. Solid right back, and there's a few other bits and pieces coming up as well. So I'm looking forward to it. But I was chatting to Tony there during the week, so I have something up my sleeve as well for the Longford game in terms of what I do. I won't give too much away. I'll say to you after, but keep an eye out on socials. That's all I'm saying.
No bother. And I sent out those solicitors letters today if you want to renew your sponsorship for next season, by the way.
Perfect. I'll get them. Actually, they'll probably come in the same time as Morris's flyer for the elections.
There you go. Absolutely. You should actually get Morris to send you one of the flyers and give one to Stephen Kenny. Get a picture with him on one of the flyers.
I'll get him to sign it. Morris, send us up a flyer. I get Stephen Kenny to sign it for you, man.
That would be class, wouldn't it? Big up, Will. All right, lads. Congrats, Marky, on the win. Fuck City. There you go. All in one.
Yes.
It's mad. Isn't it mad when you think of the rivalry we both have our clubs? And yet now it's kind of like fair play, fuck City. It's mad, isn't
it? Yeah. Even before that though, like everyone's a football fan. I'd have no kind of qualms about saying congratulations to you, but obviously it has gotten that bit stronger now with that seat you're cheating, you know what, you know?
Yeah. It just, with the way it's happened and evolved, it feels like it's all of us versus them now, isn't it?
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
thing and stuff. So Pep definitely selected the wrong starting lineup. Yeah, we will get into talking about that. Now, let's get into the FA Cup final review. I could have posted a picture of the whole team lifting the trophy.
Yeah.
And the celebrations and all, but I chose not to. And the reason I chose not to was I thought this picture was fantastic. I thought this picture summed up these two boys with Ten Hag. These two boys have been putting in a shift all season. 100%. Absolutely. Now, I will preface that by saying I thought it was one of Bruno Fernandes's better performances.
Absolutely. I said that. I was saying that to my dad. Kobe got man of the match, but Garnacho could have got it. Bruno definitely could have got it. Some of his passing and his all-round play. I don't know if they mentioned it. I didn't see any of the analysis after, but even when people were giving away the ball, he was encouraging them. He wasn't throwing his arms in the air and having a sulk, and that's a big thing for him. He can get lost in games given out all the time, and particularly referees as well. I thought it was very well refed on Saturday afternoon. I don't know what anyone else thought, but usually he'd be getting involved with the referee and stuff like that. I think there was the flashpoint of obviously Martinez going off the pitch and Walker pushing him off and stuff like that. A few little handbags here, but I thought overall, Kobe deserved it. Garnacho, like I said, could have been up there as well, and definitely Bruno. And Nana, I know he made a mistake, but he pulled off some really, really world-class saves as well,
Absolutely, yeah. What did you make at the final whistle? Martinez running over and grabbing Ten Hag up and grabbing him by the scruff of the neck and all.
It was mad.
Really, he was giving it to him large, wasn't he? Really, So
it was great. And like at the start of the game, you looked at the starting 11, and I had an inkling on what he was trying to do and stuff like that. And it was one of the best 45 minutes I've seen us play all season. We were pressing them really, really well. When we had the ball, we were excellent in possession, which we haven't been all season. Some of the passing was unbelievable. Like we talked about Bruno's pass for Mainu's goal, but if you go back two or three passes before, Rashford's pass out to Garnacho on the right hand side reminds you of David Beckham or Paul Scholes back in the day, that sort of way. Obviously, listen, City did look very tired. I was texting a few of the lads saying they look bollocks, this, that, and the other, but you still have to take advantage. And even going in at half time, you're 2-0 up. I know this sounds mad, but you're still vulnerable when you're playing against a Manchester City team, because even when you're 2-0 up, you're still vulnerable, because we know what kind of beast they are. They can just switch on like a light bulb and go from 0 to 180. And like, it didn't happen. And I know it's very few and far between. Second half is completely different. We just had to soak up a lot of pressure, which I thought we did very well. Listen, we rode our luck a bit when Haaland hit the bar, and obviously Doku caused a few problems when he came on as well, and obviously he got the goal, which I was in a way I was kind of happy about, because essentially I had 2-1 and it was 22-1, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, listen, overall, like I said, one of the best first 45 minutes I've seen, and defensively in the second half, I thought we were excellent soaking up the pressure as well. In the second half, we just felt so comfortable. Or in the first half, sorry, it felt so comfortable. And then we had the offside goal, which obviously was offside, and you're thinking, geez, they might come back and equalise. But the football we played and the chances we created, and I think in general, if you look at it, it was a really, really good game to watch. Probably from a neutral, like, you probably think the same. Like, it was the 58th minute before the first corner kick of the game. Like, that's saying something else,
Crazy.
that type of way. Like, it was just all about the ball, and there mightn't have been too many chances, for City in the first half, but we still had to be on our toes. I thought Varane and Martinez had an excellent game. Obviously, Martinez went off towards the end with he was just wrecked. He hadn't played too much football, and it was an intense game coming up against Haaland and the rest of them.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you know what I did? I said it in our thread on Saturday. I thought the Manu goal was a beautifully worked team goal.
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought it was really well put together, and even the vision for Bruno to pick that pass and see him and complete it.
Yeah,
I thought was excellent. You know what I mean? I said it was an excellent. Whatever about the Garnacho goal, I mean, he's been scoring goals this season.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, you're right, you're looking at him. Fair play to him, chasing it in and chasing it down and getting and stuff like that. But if you want to see a beautifully worked goal out to the right, into the middle, set across, and Manu with the simplest of finish, he could have blasted it, but he just placed it into the opposite corner because he seen the way the keeper was going.
Yeah, 100%. And like, you look at the team we did it against as well, and in the kind of, obviously the FA Cup final, it made it that bit more special. But Kobe, obviously, Curtis, my sister's fella Curtis, his little brother played for United and played with Kobe in the FA Youth winning team there a few years ago. And he'd always said about him and Willie at the back. Obviously, Willie Kambwala was obviously his centre half. Eric Ambry, he was a keeper, so him and Kobe are still good mates now, but he's just a different, and he's only 18, man. He looks like he's in his 30s, like, not in but I'm just saying, not by looks, but by the way he plays. And
check that bird cert.
That's yeah. But the way he reassures other players as well. And actually, another clip of did you see Martinez when Garnacho scored and he's celebrating, and then he goes run back and he just grabs him and he's like,
grabs him by the scruff, come on. Yeah, none of that.
That's the kind of experience you want. But like, Kobe just, like, he carried Casemiro through a lot of games this season. I remember Luton away in particular and stuff like that. He was excellent, and it was a well-deserved goal from him.
Yeah, a couple of clips I seen. The one I thought was brilliant where they were spraying the champagne in the dressing room and he pulled Ahmad out of the way because obviously because of the alcohol and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really leadership qualities.
Did you see who wasn't staying out of the alcohol on Saturday? Was Ramos Hoyland. Did you see the video?
Seen him dancing around all with your man Speed and everything.
He was dancing around to ABBA, and then he got up and sang, and he carried a bottle of whatever it was from Wembley, and he's drinking on the bus and stuff like that.
Him and McTominay were flying around with your man Speed.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It was really cool.
And did you see Garnacho didn't take his jersey off?
Yeah.
He was still in the jersey when he was talking to Speed and all back and out. At the laugh, though, Ten Hag was looking at Speed like, who the are you? Like, you in here?
But it was cool. It was cool.
And
I think the other thing I seen as well, which I thought was really cool, there was a kid going down an escalator with his dad, and he had Manu on the jersey. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see that. No.
And when the dad and the son turned around, Manu's dad apparently was standing behind them, and he said to the two of them, he goes, "Oh, you have Kobe on your jersey?" And the kid goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "He's my son."
No way.
And it was really cool. Now I think it's legit as far as I know.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool. It was really, really cool.
That's there. It was obviously after Saturday, I was watching YouTube a lot. I was just flicking through all the videos that were coming in and stuff like that, and was watching a few of the fan channels and all, and Angry Ginge was there in Wembley, and he spotted a lad with a 10 Hag out.
Ten Hag out. I seen that
Did
on
you
the back
see
of the
that? Like,
jersey. Yeah,
why
yeah.
would you wear that to Wembley? Like, what an absolute toolbox. But
Well,
a
they
lot got,
do. They do show up at
I
times.
know,
They
yeah.
do show up.
A lot of them going around in the old half and half scarves as well, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, your man Nasty had one. Your
Seeing
man
that.
Nasty had one, but he said he
that.
bought it. He said he bought it for his was it his brother or his cousin or something like that, or something like that. So.
Had to laugh though. There was one of them doing a vlog, and they had the little kind of pop up shops outside. It was an official kind of United and City one, and the United third or away jersey from this season, or third jersey, whatever it was, the green one. It's on the website for £20 sterling. They were selling for £80 sterling outside Wembley yesterday. They're not even going to wear it again. They were wearing the red jersey for the last time yesterday, and I'm just looking, going, Jesus. Some Phil probably bought it as well. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. Conference League final on Wednesday night. I tell you, it's been a season of kind of somewhat upsets, hasn't it? So we will get on to talk about your Champions League prediction, but United causing the upset, Atalanta causing the upset. Maybe this is the season of upsets, and maybe Dortmund might be
what
there.
a final that was last week as well. I don't know if you talked about it on the Thursday tier talk. I came in late on Thursday to the conversation, and I went up to the fan zone on the Tuesday night with Rowan. After work, we went up, and some atmosphere was great. Like, and they had the Legends game on the Wednesday. Diego Forlan and all was over. I think Luis Garcia was there. Who else was there? David James was there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them at it, actually.
There was,
There was a bunch of them
yeah.
at it. Yeah.
In fact, Yvonne's cousin's fella, Barry Murphy, used to play for Rovers. He was up there playing a goal. I was looking at the picture going, how the hell did he get involved in this league? So, but it was good. It was good up there.
Yeah, Morris, we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday. There's a lot of stuff to discuss after Double or Nothing, that's for sure. It was absolutely crazy. Aces delighted that King called out Ten Hag.
He didn't really call him. It was kind of half-hearted, jokingly, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, that was only a joke, really.
Yeah.
I tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like
Shearer.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit rough now. You know what I mean? Yeah, very. And listen, we spoke about him last week when we spoke about Ian Wright.
Yeah.
I gave you my thoughts on Alan Shearer, didn't I? So,
and in fairness, I said he's kind of grown on me over the time, but that was a bit salty for me now, in fairness.
Why was the ref wearing yellow, Mark?
On Saturday. It's up to the FA. They pick what colour kit to put the referees in. So, obviously the referees have all the different colour kits there, but the referee assessor and the FA will be in discussions. Obviously, they tried.
Well, sometimes they wear the light blue, don't they? So they couldn't.
Sometimes they wear the light blue as well, and
so they couldn't.
It depends on the kits and stuff like that. Yeah. So, that's the only reason I could see.
Yeah, and I thought as well. I thought the ref did a pretty good job of refereeing as well. In fairness,
I said that at the start there. Yeah, 100%. I thought it was very well refed. I thought there was a few fouls at the start where you could see other referees giving a yellow card, but he kind of just said, right, get up, get on with it. That's your first one. We'll let you away with it. And I think you need that sometimes. You need that element in the game. And I thought you handled it very well.
Yeah, Morris, I spoke about this today on our chat and stuff like that and all. I cannot believe what we're going to be looking into next year with the level of managers or coaches or whatever you want to call them coming in. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's crazy.
Mental.
And what's crazy is that if you look at a lot of the fan bases, they're starting to talk these guys up like they're Champions League managers. It is ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, you swear McKenna and Maraska are going to manage Real and Dortmund this Saturday.
You never know.
Shocking. It's shocking.
I know,
and people are turning around going, 100%. Yeah, but this, that, and the other, and all this sort of stuff. Listen, we have a lot of respect for the championship.
Yeah.
Good Lord, these lads need to wake up. How many times did we talk all season about standards? Yeah. Good Lord, they're in the trash. In the trash. Gangs of druggies in town last Wednesday doing Jesus Christ.
I tell you one thing though, Acers, and Rowan, if you're still in the chat, you tell him we walked literally from Jervis Street over to Dublin Castle, and we must have seen at least 60 guards around. They were all in gangs. There was 5 on one corner, 5 on the other, 4 on the other. They were all, you probably seen it yourself, because they were all
they were all up around Camden Street and everything.
All over the place, like, and even on the Wednesday, I got into town probably about 9:30 or so. They were all over the place. The riot squad was meeting up in Wolftown Square there, and they were going off. But there was always a presence around Wolftown Square and around Capel Street and all over the place. So it was very well organised as well.
Heard Bayern Munich were watching Thursday Tier Talk before making up their mind on company.
It's a mad one. Because I said it before, like, it wouldn't surprise me if the team came in from outside, thought the style of football that you played was good, but he just didn't have the players to implement it as such, you know?
Yeah, it is a leap, though.
No, 100%. No, 100%.
Now, I mean a massive leap.
A massive leap, like.
Massive leap. And especially at a time where you're hurting because of what Leverkusen did this season.
Yeah.
It's an even bigger leap.
Yeah.
No, that's a mad. Rounds in. Should be like that on a normal day in town.
He's right.
That's what I often wonder, where do all these Gardaí be when there's no match on?
Exactly. Like, it's the mad. Things we do see in town on a daily basis, it's just nothing surprises me anymore. And you were the same, Cuz, and Robbie the same in the chat. The things being around seeing in town is just, oh my God.
Do you know what it is, Mark? When Lauren or Ben turn around and tell me they're going into town for a night out, I nearly stay up and wait to collect them.
Yeah, no,
and I'm not some overprotective dad.
No, exactly.
But just the stuff we see is just horrible. Shaka scream a goal in German Cup final on Saturday night. Yeah. Unreal.
Granite Shaka.
Right. Southampton.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Southampton, on getting promoted and winning the promotion. Commiserations to Leeds, I have to say, who have played for the last month or two. Unbelievable football this season. To the point where Somerville and Archie Gray, are linked with moves to Liverpool, actually.
Seeing that to the other.
Yeah, and heavily linked, not passing comment like. Now, whether I agree with that or not is another thing. But congratulations to Southampton, and especially the boy Armstrong up front, who's been dying to show his skill in the Premier League.
Well, do you know what? I don't know if you remember, we talked about it in the matchup before the first leg of the playoffs, and I called Southampton. And if you look at them throughout the whole season, they're only beaten 3 times at home this season, which is remarkable in the championship season. Leicester beat them, Hull and Stoke towards the end of the season. Then Leicester actually beat them 5-0. Southampton were away at the end of April, and you think like something like that. But in their next game, they went to beat Leeds 2-1 in Ellen Road. You know, it was unbelievable. Russell Martin's done a fantastic job. There was obviously question marks about him when he was with Swansea in his first season. He finished 10th, second season 15th, and then he gets the job at Southampton. But he's done a stellar job since he's come in. Will Smallbone has been excellent for them. I watched a lot of Will over the last few years. He had an excellent spell on loan with Stoke there a few seasons ago. He's come back in and he's cemented his place in midfield. He scored a cracker in the second leg of the playoffs, and he just brings something extra. Obviously, you have Ryan Manning there as well. He came on, I think, for a few minutes there in the final. Gav has been unlucky. He's been out for most of the season with injury, but at the start of the season, he was an integral part of the squad and the team. But what they've done, like I said, because to only be beaten 3 times at home in the championship season, that is remarkable. The amount of games they play, you know, that type of way. I always say this: Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday. It's so intense, and for me, it's well deserved. But like you look at Leeds, you have to feel sorry for them. You know, they were on top of the championship. Was it the March? I think it was the March Internationals. They were on top. They finished 3rd with 90 points, 17 points ahead of Norwich, who were in 6th, who were involved in the playoffs as well. And not to go up, that's just unbelievable.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and I feel for the Leeds supporters because I do. I was really happy when Leeds got back into the Premier League that time, but equally happy that Southampton are back in there as well. What I did notice yesterday when the manager went over the Smallbone at full time, and what I did like yesterday was the threat down that side that Leeds possessed with Somerville and all.
Yeah,
he had Smallbone nearly operating nearly like a DM as opposed to a creator.
yeah.
And he was good at
Yeah.
breaking up the play and all. I was very impressed with him because normally we think of Smallbone as being a forward progressive type of midfielder
Well,
as
yeah, and
opposed to a DM, you know.
yeah, with the Irish under 21s, he played in that DM role quite a bit as well, so he's well
Mm,
used to it, you know. And
mm,
he's had a lot of struggles over the last few years, and particularly when he kind of broke into the football scene, especially on social media. He was getting a lot of flack by, obviously, from the way he looks, you know, that type of way. He obviously had alopecia as a kid and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I'm delighted to see him. You know, he's had a lot of fights to fight, and he's won a lot of them. And to see him, and like I said, he got that important goal in the second leg of the playoffs, and then he got the assist yesterday against Leeds. So I was absolutely delighted for him.
Yeah, and it was sad as well to see. This is the worst of these kind of things because there's always going to be a loser, and it was sad to see the Leeds players on the pitch so upset and stuff like that. That it meant so much. So what it also means as well is the Leeds financially are in a bit of bother, 190
Yeah,
million,
yeah, they have to.
and that's
Yeah,
we don't want to see it going the way it went under Ridsdale. Remember
yeah,
with
exactly.
David O'Leary actually.
And I just want
Um,
to say as well to the Leeds and the Southampton fans in particular, there was an extra 1,400 fans than there was at the FA Cup final. You know, it just shows the support for the championship and those two teams in particular. They're probably, obviously, other than Leicester, they're the probably most supported teams there, you know, in terms of full houses at home
yeah.
and away sections week in,
Well,
week out. So
I
it's great
always
to
say
see.
when I think of Southampton and I think of Leeds, I think of Premier League clubs. That's what I
Yeah,
think, you know.
yeah,
So no surprise at all. We also got the news kind of yesterday. This man's going to depart in 2025. Apparently, that's the talk. Unless they can convince him to stay.
yeah,
What's your thoughts? Is it does he need a kind of a new? I mean, obviously the league is going to go through a lot of upheaval over the next season or two. Managers coming in now, transitioning into becoming head coaches, teams trying to put backroom staff in there, directors of football,
yeah,
CEOs, all this kind of thing. So the old manager style of picking players and stuff like that will be going away. Coaches will be there to coach players, have some sort of influence on recruitment, but nowhere near as much as what they would probably want.
yeah,
And that's going to be quite a transition for a lot of guys. When you look at the likes of, say, Tuchel, or you look at the likes of, Poch, and a lot of these managers, even Ten Hag to some extent,
yeah.
who has had huge influence on recruitment, which is now not going to be the case. So it's going to be quite a transition for them. And in the meantime, this guy will get a free pass, obviously. Because obviously we have a new manager coming in. There's lots of
Yeah,
clubs will have new managers coming in, and obviously even for United, if they do stick with Ten Hag,
yeah.
there's going to be upheaval there because Ineos are going to be getting involved, and it'll be a new thing from that point of view as well. But what do you make of this talk at the moment? 2025 is going to exit the building.
Yeah, we've seen wasn't it his last interview after winning the Premier League? He said he's closer to leaving than he is to signing a new 7-year deal or
Yeah,
whatever it was, or staying there for another 7 years. Um, Obviously there's been a lot of pressure on him over the last few years, particularly when the kind of talk about these charges come out. You know, he's almost probably thinking to himself, no matter what I do and the accomplishments I make on the pitch, we'll always have the charges hanging over our head. You
mm,
know, as a coach, that's very hard because you're doing the best job you can possibly with the players you have there. Now, obviously, they're there for whatever reason, whatever you pay for them, but they still have to go out and do a job for you and play in a certain way. And no disrespect to City, they won the treble last season. It hasn't been talked about as much as, say, another team. I'm not just saying we're still talking about it, but if another team had went out and done it like you, we'd be still talking about it, but we're not talking about it. And that's tough for him because it's his accomplishment and it's not being recognised because of the charges hanging over his head. And he knows that's coming. And obviously they say 2025, the end of next season, which coincides with when the charges are going to be dealt with and stuff like that. So
mm.
he's probably thinking all that. Now, I was thinking about this earlier. Do you think he might go and have another sabbatical for a year or so, like he did after he left Barcelona and before going to Bayern Munich? Because he's been under a severe amount of kind of pressure, and don't forget, it's pressure from himself as well. You know, he's done everything in the game, and there's only so many things he can think about doing next. And he won the treble last season, and then just to win the Premier League season. So that, to me, not like knowing Pep the way we do know him, he would have thought of this season has been a disaster after winning the treble last season. He would have been hoping with the quad to go one step better, and it didn't happen. So he puts a lot of pressure on himself as well, you know.
Yeah, I suppose the only thing left for him to achieve is to either win a quad or go invincible as well. They're kind
Yeah,
of the two things that are outstanding at
yeah,
this stage, really, in order to like check every box, if you like.
yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I wonder, does he fancy a stint in Italy or something like that? You know, could he go into a Juve, or could he go into an AC Milan and or something like that and rise them up again to be that power in football again
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something
It'd
like
be
that?
interesting.
You
Or
know,
would he go over to an Inter Miami and hook up with a few
I
ex
don't
players of
think
his?
I don't think that would interest him at all.
It's
I
just to
don't
lift
think
the
so.
standards of the league, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
his standards.
Sure, you go over there. Like who talks about Messi these days? Let's be
Yeah,
honest. You know what I mean? You're the forgotten son once you go over there. The
yeah,
other thing he could do is he might fancy going in and managing somewhere like Spain or something like that at international level.
yeah, yeah.
Go
Could
off and
do.
win the Euros and win a World Cup,
Yeah.
mate. And
Or
all, you
could
know.
he go into PSG and try to win them their first ever Champions League? That'd be something
PSG as
conference.
well, yeah. That'd be incredible as well. But the thing about the PSG one, right? That the Champions League one is the nugget there that you could
Yeah,
go in and achieve that. But then week on week you're gonna have to tolerate playing in the French league. You
yeah,
know, so
yeah,
it comes with that.
yeah.
And it's no disrespect to the French league, but we know where it sits. You
Exactly.
know
Yeah,
what I mean? And that's your bread and butter. That would be your week on week.
yeah.
And then every second week or third week you have your Champions League and
Champions
stuff
League
like
to
that.
look forward to.
So
Yeah,
what are you doing? Are you bearing all that year? Like, because we know PSG generally will get to the quarterfinals or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
So are you investing all that year to get to March? And then it's March, April, May kind of thing, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm not too sure. Whereas, like, if you look at, say, a Juventus or an AC Milan or something like that, that would be, it's still talked about. We still talk about Italian
yeah, yeah,
football and, Inter Milan and stuff like that. And you can see the Italian clubs, Atalanta, Fiorentina this Wednesday. There's still a lot of real quality in there at times
yeah,
as well, So, yeah, and it's the only league that's missing really. I know you mentioned the French league, but I mean, he's done Spain, he's done Germany, he's
yeah,
done England. So Italy really is the only one left if he fancies club football realistically.
yeah.
Because I don't see him going after the Saudi league either or something like that either.
Go to
That's not
Turkey. Go to Turkey. Get your hair done.
yeah. Imagine comes
Did
out
you see Galatasaray won the league with 102 points? Fenerbahce finished second with 99, man.
yeah. Did you see the
Unreal.
Fenerbahce fans?
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely ripping down the
yeah,
president's flags and stuff
yeah.
like that and all. Like,
They're mad.
it's different gravy in those countries, isn't it? Like,
100%.
like, and this is what we talk about: winning is everything, and second is nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
This is in these countries how this is viewed.
yeah.
There was lads up on people's on shoulders yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it, and they had big machetes and they were putting them through these flags, ripping this president's
They're
flags down.
mental. They're mental.
Crazy.
They
But
go into
it's
the
a
stadium.
it's a certain standard.
Oh,
They
yeah,
want to be winners. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And
They go into the
that's from
stadium 3 hours before
Bar,
kickoff goes just to create
yeah,
an atmosphere. They're mad. My dad
yeah,
went to, obviously, my man have a house in Kousalasi over
yeah.
there, and he went up to Istanbul for one of the Fenerbahce games.
Mm,
He said they're bleeding mad. Only for he was with lads, Turkish lads that he knew from Kousalasi.
mm,
He said he would be absolute cacking himself.
100%, 100%. But we
And
shall
he's from
see. It's
Peartree.
interesting. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder is Klopp looking at this announcement and thinking, did I go a bit too early? Did I
Yeah,
go a
yeah,
bit too
yeah,
early? No. But then I wonder would Pep have gone if Klopp had stayed? So
yeah,
you've
yeah,
that side of it as well. This lad finished up at Getafe and seemed to give it a little bit of a send off and stuff like that.
yeah.
How do you think this is going to roll out? Is he coming back into the United fold? Is he going to get sold? Is he going to go back out on loan? What do you
Um,
think?
excuse me. He was meant to be in Wembley on Saturday for the FA Cup final.
Mm.
I don't know if he made it over or not for it or whatever. But yeah, listen, I take him back in a heartbeat. He's done really well over there. Obviously, he left under a cloud and what happened with the ex, who's now the current and apparently pregnant and
The
this, that, and
mother.
the other.
Yeah, she had a kid or two, wasn't she, for him?
Yeah, so personally, I'd like to see him come back in. He's gone over there and he's performed really well. I think he scored
Yeah.
8 or 9 goals and he's had a
Mm.
few assists and stuff like that. And he's gone under severe kind of under the microscope of the media not just in England but over there as well. Because obviously when they was going into Spain, they knew what was happening back in Manchester and stuff. So it was difficult on the lad, and he's still only a young lad when you think about it as well. He was only kind of breaking into he only had broke in 2 seasons earlier to us and stuff, and then all this came out and people were comparing him to certain players. But I think he's definitely a player I wouldn't sell at the minute. I'd like to see him coming in and, have a good preseason with us, go over to America and play a few games, get a few games under Ten Hag under his belt, get back into the system. Because he'll be hungry to, I don't know, Morris. I'd like to see him come in, and I think he wasn't proven guilty by any kind of standard, like, do you know what I mean? So
I think the problem for Ineos is this is the summer. So this is a problem that they have to fix. So they either accept him back in, take whatever heat is coming and do whatever has to be done, or they sell him and they move on from it. But they can't just keep this guy in limbo as well all the time.
No, 100%.
So I think they just need to make a decision on it and then stand by their decision, whatever it is.
Like I said, I'd personally take him back, and to be honest with you, if we did get him in, he'd be like a brand new signing for me. And you look at the likes of Martial going and stuff like that, it's not as if we have to move him on to get rid of his wages. We're getting rid of the likes of Varane and Martial, and Casemiro will probably be going as well. Love to see Anthony go and maybe Rashford as well, but Green would be definitely one I'd be keeping.
Yeah, I agree with Morris. It's a PR nightmare. It's not necessarily
it is, but
you know what I mean?
I think his time away from England in particular and from the media outlets, we're seeing little snippets of this, that, and the other when he's doing well for them. But I think this year or this season away would have not only done him the world of good, but the club in general, because you're keeping him sort of out the limelight and hopefully getting back in. Listen, we've seen players do worse. Remember your man for Sheffield United that was done for rape, and he comes back out and he signs for a club. We've seen lots of people do worse things and come back from it as well, and I've no doubt that Mason will,
Yeah, I just think with United, there's such a microscope on them anyway, being such a big club and all. And I think what happens is in this situation is the minute he's featured in a United training session on tour in America or whatever it is, or a match or something like that, straight away the plaster is ripped off that wound by the British media. And that's where you have to be strong enough as a club to turn around and face that down and not buckle. If that's the decision, this is what I mean talking about when you make that decision, you're gonna have to stand by it, and that wave is gonna come, and you're gonna have to stand by it, and that's the difficulty.
Yeah, no, it is, but the wave won't last all season. He'll be there. It will probably happen for the first few weeks, months, whatever it is. But he'll listen. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's come this far. He's performed with Getafe away from all this, still with the pressure and the thoughts of all of it in his head. So he has a good head on his shoulder for a young lad his age. Listen, you'd like to think he has a support, and you're only one. He has the support around him from his family and friends as well, and obviously he's still with the girl, like which is crazy anyway. But to me, I take him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's just for me. It's just because he's such a young kid as well. He's obviously now a father. He's back with the girl that it was all in question with and stuff like that. I think some sort of a decision has to be made. Either sell him to the continent or bring him back in or whatever way you're going to do it. But just make a goddamn decision so everyone can move on from it one way or another.
That's the thing. Like I said, you've seen players worse off. Like your man, what was his name? If anyone in the comments remember that played for Sheffield United, the striker. He was done for rape and stuff like that, and then he came out and he signed for someone else. Who was it? Anyway, Morris, you have me back. You'll remember, won't you?
We'll figure it out as we go along, anyway.
But listen, the charges were dropped and all. Obviously, Chad Evans, that was it. Cheers, roll me one. He came back out when he was playing football. Obviously, the charges were dropped, and listen, he lost a lot. He lost his deal with Nike and stuff like that, and like I said, he's had a lot to deal with for such a young lad, and I think he's dealt with it very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's so difficult. You know yourself, once you're mentioned in any of that kind of circle, it's so difficult to shed it. Because you're guilty straight away. You're just guilty before you have your day in court, and you're guilty straight away. And it's just look. we heard some of the audio and all that kind of stuff. It didn't sound great and stuff like that. But look, I often turn around and say with these guys as well, these are guys that are making millions and they're not, they're not properly managed. They're let loose and a lot of things happen and stuff like that.
And
Listen, I'm not defending anything in any way
because
at all, but I just
I
think it
just
needs to be sorted.
100%. And I will say one thing, lads in the chat and everyone out there, tell me you've never made a mistake in life. Everyone makes mistakes in life. It's how you deal with it after it shows the person that you are, and you move on and you try to come back stronger, and I hope he does that. But everyone makes mistakes. It's not just him. Obviously, because the team it was highlighted and it was in the media and all, but we all made mistakes. Like,
Yeah, and I think like there was a huge reaction to it as well. But look, we know the whole thing with mental health and all that kind of stuff and all. We want people, if they can be happy and stuff like that. And look, the only two people that really know what went on and how it all went down are the two people who were
yeah,
together and seemed
exactly.
happy.
Yeah.
So like, who are we to judge?
Yeah.
Romy Kenobi, add Mendy from Man City to that as well. He was dragged through the mud. Absolutely, that was just
Yeah.
crazy. This is one for Morris on the chat as well. Hazard has been talking, and his preference for the next Chelsea manager when he was being interviewed is one Cesc Fabregas. What do you think of that? Morris, what do you think of that in the chat? Cesc Fabregas for Chelsea manager.
Who's he with now, Cesc?
I don't know. I don't know. Is he with someone at the moment?
I thought he was coaching, not like managing the first team, but I thought he was
just going through the badges.
Coaching, yeah.
I'm not too sure. I didn't dig in deep enough, but I thought it was an interesting suggestion. I tell you, he's with Como according to Rome.
Como, yeah. I thought he was with someone all right,
yeah. Serie B, yeah. No, interesting, all right, but I think Stephen Kenny to Chelsea. I think Stephen Kenny to Chelsea would be good. Morris said, Mark, it's a bit more than a mistake now. Take off the United glasses.
Morris, was he found guilty? That's all I'm saying.
I tell you. See how much of a politician he's become already.
That's it.
He's not even voted in yet, and he's already
he's independent now. But watch, he'll go to Fine Gael or something. Watch on a transfer January deal.
Absolutely stripping people at the moment on Twitter. He is. Frank de Boer to Chelsea. Let's go. Don't know about
that. Get my mate Di Matteo back there. He'll win you a few trophies.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, it was an interesting one. I just seen it today. Right.
Did I see Hazard was announced for Soccer Aid next month?
Oh, was he?
Yeah, it's in Stamford Bridge this year, and I'm nearly sure I've seen it been announced there the other day.
Interesting. Right. Saturday
night. Yeah.
Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund.
I just turned around. I should have had the Champions League trophy here beside me as well, ready to hold it up.
True, absolutely. What are you thinking in the chat, folks? Give us your predictions for Saturday. We've seen a few upsets.
Well, can I just say, Romy Kenobi is not going for Dortmund. Let's just say that.
I wouldn't have thought so now. Morris, the Zerbi fraud to Peterborough. My ass will be in knots on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
See, Mark, I don't know the amount of upsets we've seen this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look, we all listen. No one more than me knows how good Real Madrid are. I have felt that time and time again, and I would never back against Real Madrid.
I do always say it. No matter now, they won the league. They had a decent season. They didn't. I don't think Bilbao won the Copa del Rey, so obviously they're not going for a travel or anything. But no matter Madrid just show up for this competition. Like even in years gone by, they're being out absolute brute in the league, and couldn't win a game, and chasing Barcelona's tails, and Valencia going over them, or Atletico Madrid, and then in the Champions League they just look like world class. And you're like, how did they do it? But it should be an interesting final. I'd like to see an open final, not too cagey. Obviously, Sancho be with Dortmund and doing his things, but I can see personally, I see Real Madrid winning this.
There's an interesting one, right? At a time where we're talking about forgiveness and coming back into the United squad, Jadon Sancho goes and beats Real Madrid on Saturday and lifts the Champions League, and that's a huge if.
Yeah.
What then?
I still wouldn't take him back. Chatting to chatting to Browner, who obviously talks to all the lads involved with United, told me a few stories about him, man. His attitude stinks, like properly stinks. I wouldn't have him back. He could score a hat trick on Saturday night, cause and get man of the match and lift that trophy, and I still wouldn't have him anywhere near Old Trafford or Carrington.
This sounds like trophies over league position arguments.
It's talk about attitude. His attitude stinks.
But how does it work then at Dortmund?
Listen, it's probably because he wants to play for the manager. You know, obviously him and Ten Hag have had their issues, and it's personal, and that's where his his bad attitude has come from. And yeah, it just stinks. Like he was. I won't
But
get it.
does a strong manager fix that?
It
Does a
depends.
strong manager see beyond that, fix that,
It
and
depends,
see?
because it gets to a point where you think, I don't need to deal with this. I have other players there. Like he's after bringing in Diallo, getting him to step up to the mark. You've Garnacho there. Obviously, you've Anthony and Rashford that can play in the positions that he plays. And you think, I don't need to deal with him, so we'll send him out on loan. There's no, like, his attitude literally stinks. You're trying to look after 25 lads in the squad, and if you've one bad apple, you have to get rid of it. You can't have him there. End of.
Yeah, I suppose I'm thinking a bit louder than that. Thinking like, Ten Hag. How does he get him motivated playing for him and not have a bad attitude? That's where I was going to come
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. But if you have a bad attitude with your man, I've had it myself with members and stuff like that. If you have a bad attitude with your manager and you don't like him, he doesn't like you.
Mm.
It's never going to work
Well,
out. And
but let's be honest. This season, I'm sure Ten Hag this season has had to pick teams and players while grinding his fucking teeth. Other
that
players that
happens.
have let him
That
down
happens.
big time as well.
But in
You know.
fairness, those players could have been shown something in training on between Monday and Friday before a game, where this lad wasn't showing anything, and he wasn't even showing up for training on time.
Mm.
Them
Yeah.
lads are there first thing in the morning, and no matter what you say about Rashford, Browner will tell you this. No matter what you say about Rashford, he's always first there and last to leave. You know, whatever you think about his attitude and what he does on a Saturday or a Sunday, he's always first there and last to leave.
Okay, so here's one for you. Let's suppose Ten Hag goes, and let's suppose, for argument's sake, pick anyone, Potch, whoever you want comes in. Does he come back into the team then?
If you're Ineos, you'd probably get him in and see the season he's played and see what attitude he has under the manager. You could give him pre-season and see, but I wouldn't have him anywhere near Old Trafford.
Interesting debate, though. Interesting.
100%.
Alan saying, big up Alan, can't look past
How are you,
Madrid for
Al?
the final. No one ever
Hey,
does. No one
Alan,
ever does.
who are you going to pick on Sunday to win? That's all I'm saying. Myself and Alan are meeting up for a game of Astro on Sunday.
Oh, very
in
good.
the Spa Well.
The Spa Well.
Yeah,
Jeez,
that'll bring you back. 12:30 Sunday morning. I think Rowan might be coming up with his boots as well.
Very good, I tell you. Sancho was only built for the Bundesliga. Interesting.
The players like that. You look at Lukaku, like he was brilliant in the Premier League, and he goes over to the Italian league, and it's just the style of play over there just suits him a lot better.
Scott McTominay, player of the season.
From the bench.
You're going down, Mark. You're going down. There
Alan, once Alex is on my team, I don't mind. I don't mind that.
Right. Let's talk about this only because we have to. 25 years on. 1999. The treble winning season.
Alan as well. Alan, you're in the chat, just so you're there.
Told you. Told you, Al. I told you. This is what we have to put up with.
Yeah, Jesus, like, where do you begin? I remember going over a few times that season with my dad, and I remember going to the West Ham game. There was a pair of cup for kickoff, and we were at the Barcelona game, the 3-3 game in the Champions League in the group stages. What a game that was! And man, it was unbelievable looking back. That semi-final against Arsenal had it all. Had goals, sending offs, going to extra time, and obviously Bergkamp missing the penalty, and Phil Neville giving away the penalty, and Vieira giving away the ball to Giggs, and we all know what happened then. And then in the Spurs game, you know, we had to win, and Les Ferdinand Dinks went over Schmeichel in the first half, and we're 1-0 down at half time. Here thinking, you know, this could be it now. This could be the end of it. And obviously Beckham scores a worldie, and Andy Cole scores one as well, and just unbelievable. And then you go in. Then you go into the FA Cup final against a Newcastle team who were scalded by Arsenal the season before, and they were well up for it, but we bet them handily enough. And then you go into Barcelona, and unbelievable. And it was Sir Matt Busby's birthday. He'd obviously passed on, but it was his birthday on the 26th of May, and just all these little things. But obviously, listen, we go into the game. I think the first 10 minutes, the emotion caught the players, and obviously Basler scores in the 6th or 7th minute, whatever it was, and we were up against it then. It wasn't necessarily, it was a bit like the FA Cup final that time against Liverpool. There was all this build up, and it wasn't necessarily the best of games, but obviously we kept pressing, and he made a few substitutions that went down in the history of the club, and we get the corner, and Beckham takes it. And obviously we know what happens then from the first, and Teddy gets the last touch, and then Ole wins it in the 93rd. And I remember watching it in the IGB, and my sister Rebecca, this is maybe where my fascination with the trophies came. She had made me a Champions League trophy out of cardboard, and she put tinfoil around it and stuff
Tinfoil
like
on it,
that.
yeah, the
Yeah.
old school ones, yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good.
So I had that over in the IGB. Yeah, no, I'll go, great shout. That semi final, man. You know, to get the yellow card, and to think he wasn't playing in the final, then lead us there, like get us over the line, was unbelievable. And I'll never forget it. What a night, man. What a night. And looking back now at the videos, and I'm actually this weekend I'm gonna watch the Amazon 99
Yeah.
special as well and stuff like that. It still gives me goosebumps, man. I'd be often sitting here and it'd be on MUTV. It was on MUTV on Saturday night, and I sat there and watched it again. And the commentary, can they score? They always score, and you know, just oh man, it's brilliant, brilliant.
It was crazy because if you think of all three trophies, you know, as good as United were at the time, on all three occasions they had to find a way
Oh,
to
100%,
overcome to
100%.
get there in every one of them. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was mad. Like it was unbelievable. I remember watching the Champions League final, and my memory of the Champions League final is Oliver Kahn shell shocked,
yeah.
and then the
Who was
lad
your
at the
man,
back,
the defender that was
and
on flying? Yeah, yeah,
he was
yeah,
bashing the ground like this, just boxing the head
yeah.
off the ground. Can't remember his name again now.
The lads
But
might
it
know
was
in the
just,
chat. I can see him there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely, I think he was only a young lad as well. He was absolutely devastated. And just, he's on the ground and he's absolutely digging the ground out of it. And behind him is Oliver Kahn. And he cannot believe what has
And
happened.
he was an absolute beast, wasn't he? Can like when you
Yeah,
think of it.
yeah. And up
Um,
the other end, then Schmeichel just cartwheeling. Remember? Schmeichel
yeah,
just
yeah,
cartwheeling.
yeah.
It was
Um,
crazy.
did you ever like Teddy when Teddy Mateus? Remember Mateus going by? They took him
Yeah,
off, didn't they? And they
yeah,
took him off for about 15,
yeah.
20 minutes ago. And there's obviously that shot of him walking past the
Yeah,
trophy.
no, it wasn't him. It was the black defender at the back. He was a younger guy.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm just
What
saying
was his name?
Mateus. They took
Yeah, yeah,
Mateus off, who was the
yeah.
most experienced player, and then that
Mm,
shot of him at the end walking by the trophy. But they weren't did. Romy won. I have my 99 long sleeve Champions League jersey there with the stitching of the final. And I have it
mm,
signed by Yap Stam, Wes Brown, Dennis Irwin, and David May. So I'm gonna get a few more signatures on it. An extra one in August, let's just say. Could be
mm.
someone that scored one of the goals in the final. Um so and hopefully I get that framed as well. But I just remember, yeah, Mateus as well, and um, I remember Teddy Sheringham was talking on the United
Mm.
podcast, and they said to him, "What were you feeling?" And he says that me and Ollie were running back after I scored. He says, and we both looked at each other, and we both said, "At least we have another 30 minutes of football to play in the new camp." They were excited, thinking to be going to extra time, and they'd only
Yeah,
come on, and then obviously Ollie went and scored, and oh man, it still gives me goosebumps, man.
it's just crazy. Look, I remember just the whole season, the way it unfolded, and just Giggs scoring that goal and whipping off the jersey and all, and then just
And I
the
have to
the the, the way Coley there basically hipped practically Ian
Yeah.
Walker was unbelievable as well. And there was so much stuff that just went on, and it all just aligned and stuff like
Uh,
that.
and I
And
was,
I was literally sitting back, and I was obviously counting down the clock, and I was thinking, "There's no way they're coming back in this Champions League. No way. They look dead and buried."
yeah.
And it's like it's similar to the way we talk about Pep today, isn't it? The similarities are crazy. They just normally find a way,
And not
and
only
it's
you look at the team, and Blomqvist started on the right, Giggs on the left, and he Beckham down the middle.
mm,
Like, because obviously Kane and Scholesy were out, and Beckham and Butty were in the middle and stuff.
yeah,
No, it's not that, Morris. It's something else. That one's a bit mad. I wouldn't pay €150 for that now.
yeah. Giggs was one of those guys who had that kind of like that convict kind of shadowy beard and all and everything, didn't he? Even
And
nearly as a kid.
and
You know what I mean?
Dennis, we were chatting to Dennis when we were having a few points with him in October, and again, it's one of these things you have to ask about the Champions League final. And then Browner was like, Dennis, tell them what happened after the next few days. And he looks at Browner, starts laughing, and he turns around to me and Billy goes, I don't remember a thing for 3 days after. Because literally, they went back to the hotel absolutely on the piss. They flew back to Manchester the next day. They had the parade. They had the thing in
Out
the
on it.
Manchester, the Evening News Arena, big thing. Then he said the day after that, all the lads just met up down the local pub.
Yeah.
And then he said after that, there was a deal in Old Trafford, an official deal in Old Trafford. So he's looked
Yeah.
like bang, 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 bang. And then he
It's
said,
mad, isn't it? Like it's mad because we forget that they're still humans
yeah,
at
yeah,
the end
yeah.
of the day as well. So
So that's what Dennis said. He thinks it was a week after that he got to go on holiday with the wife and kids and stuff like that. He
yeah,
just said he was absolutely shattered, but it was some achievement. Like,
yeah. What a player! What a player Dennis Irwin was.
and then obviously
Unbelievable.
Maisie always tells a story of he was at the back and they're about to do it, and he just seen the stool or the podium that the trophy was on, and he just stood up on it, and you see that iconic picture of him standing above everyone with the arms in the air like that as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
No, it was
where
incredible.
Wes had said it. He seen Maisie do that, and in our wait when they went up, he hovered around Giggsy and Rio when they were lifting the trophy, and he said he wanted to have his Maisie moment. So when they lift it up, Wes sticks his head under, and you just see a picture of them lifting it, and Wes is right underneath it as well. So
Yeah, yeah. The one for me was always remember when Kane and Alex lifted it.
yeah. Kane on the
And
grey suit and stuff
in
like
the
that. Yeah,
suits and stuff like that and all, and that to me was iconic. And it's funny enough, and I'm not even a United fan, but I, you know, when I think of times like that and how good United were, and that bond between Ferguson and Keane, and how
yeah,
strong it was, and how Keane was that guy to do that dirty work that Alex
yeah,
probably didn't
yeah,
want to do and stuff
yeah,
like that. And then when it fell apart and the way he left
yeah.
and all, and the
He's
way it
still,
all
yeah, he's
fell
still
apart and stuff
obviously
like
in the manner of happening. He's still bitter, He gave us all to the club for as many years
that.
as he did, and to be handed a statement and said, "Listen, you're reading that out, and that's your statement. You're gone."
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really really
But
tough.
but also that idea that when it kind of suited the club for him to do the dirty work, they wanted him to do it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then when it was time to do it, then
yeah,
and he did it, and they didn't want him to do it, and he was the kind of guy like with Roy Keane. You're only getting one guy. There's not different versions of Roy Keane. You
no,
know what I mean?
he's
So
all or
you
nothing.
can't turn around and make this crazy lunatic
Yeah,
ambition winner, all that kind of stuff. You've seen how he sacrificed himself against Juve to make this happen as well.
absolutely.
And I'm sure the team thought he must have been heavily involved in that as well that
Yeah,
night as
you're
well.
right. Like, and in fairness, if
You
you
know?
see it, he's kind of embarrassed to lift the trophy. He always to say he didn't feel like and everyone in the club and all the fans on outside knew he was the yeah, too right, Al, knew he was the main reason we were there because of performance against Juventus. But
Yeah.
he said he was almost embarrassed lifting the trophy because he didn't feel like he should have because he wasn't part of the final, which shouldn't have been the case. We obviously be seeing John Terry and what the story was there.
Mm.
But I always remember my cousin Derek was over there and he said as well, like, lads just went over and didn't book hotels. There was lads sleeping on grounds and benches and all outside, and
Yeah.
lads spending 6 months' wages just to get over there, and they didn't care once they were there. And
Mm.
obviously, when you win it, you don't give it an absolute shit. You're euphoric and you don't care what's
Yeah.
going on. And Oh man, I'd
Yeah,
love to do one someday.
one of Ben's friends, Jack, who was playing on the team with us in Greystones United. His dad went over and did that, and
Daily,
he still has the frame on the wall with the original ticket in it and all and
daily.
stuff like that. Which is like you can't take those memories away and stuff
No,
like that. But I have to say, when I do look back, and I think of Kane has probably been it's probably the worst send off ever for a guy at a club who was so successful and
yeah,
so integral to the success.
yeah.
And
Um,
it's
I,
it's
I
it's a shame, you know. It really is a shame.
I
Like you
remember
know,
being over his testimonial against Celtic, and
mm,
one of my mates, Gary's a real big Celtic fan, and so we go over and happened to be in the North Stand, which was full of Celtic fans. The only time I've ever been to Manchester, and it felt like United were the away team because the amount of Celtic fans at it was unbelievable. It filled the
yeah,
North Stand and around the place, but
yeah,
obviously he played for Celtic in the first half, and then he played for United in the second half. And Ronaldo ended up scoring. I think we won 1-0 or something like that. And I remember Ken Doherty coming on the pitch at halftime with his trophy from
mm,
'97, his
yeah,
World Championship trophy and stuff. So it was a great day in terms of that. But it's just a pity he had to go to Celtic and then come back and have the testimony. It was kind of like a second thought sort of thing, you know. And like
yeah,
you said, he didn't enjoy his time at Celtic either. It wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to finish career with United, but it just wasn't to be.
yeah. Absolutely, it was a strange, such a strange one, you know. But yeah, absolutely, that treble season, you know, enshrined in history it is, and you know, again, when we talk about the bigger teams, when we talk about the benchmarks, as we said earlier about trophies versus progressive seasons and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? This is the benchmark. The benchmark are those silver trophies that you
Yeah,
win. That's how you're judged.
yeah,
Alex Ferguson is not judged on the amount of times he came second to Arsenal or Chelsea or whatever it is. He's judged on that trophy cabinet
yeah.
at Old Trafford.
And do
Um,
you know what? Do you know what's amazing? Again, go back to we had this conversation with Dennis Irwin. You look at United now. We've Hoyland playing up front. Rashford can do a bit. We had York, Cole, Solskjaer, and Sheringham. Four unbelievable strikers. You can. That's it, the Eagles, yeah. But like four world class strikers in the squad. If Yorkie or Cole, either of them, you knew he could throw. Do you remember that game in that season? We bet Forest 8-1. Solskjaer came off the bench and got a hat trick within 10 minutes. Now I know it was against Forest, like they were relegated that season, whatever. I think he got 5 in that game or something in the end, but it was unbelievable. Like Sheringham obviously scored in the FA Cup final, him and Scholesy then as well, and you look at it now, we don't have players or strength and depth as we did back then either. The quality was
yeah.
unbelievable.
Sheringham for me at the time was always a weird one when he went to United. I looked at that and I never thought that was a fit. I never thought that was a fit.
Oh man,
And how wrong I was, like, you
it
know, but
it was so funny. Again, sorry for going back. Jesus, dropping it. Dennis Irwin told us another great story of Teddy first game back in White Hart Lane against Spurs, and they won a penalty, and Teddy was adamant he wanted to take it, so put the ball down, bang, missed it, and Dennis was like, right, we knew what was going to happen, and went in at half time, gave Sheringham an absolute bollocking, proper hairdryer.
uh,
And he says, right, penalties from now on. Dennis, you're on. Dennis was like, oh, but he was on penalties for the rest of the season then,
uh,
because Teddy missed that one. Teddy obviously wanted to score, be back in White Hart Lane and all, but he made
uh,
a boo and missed it. But listen, Teddy was he's one of those at the time when he came, and he was a natural goal scorer, but he found it obviously hard, and obviously him and Andy Cole didn't get along and didn't talk for
mm,
long periods of their career as well, which is very difficult. I know Coley, if you watch the overlap, said him and Yorkie didn't really talk, but that was more of they were friends off the pitch, and on the pitch they just knew
mm,
where each other were all the time. Where
mm.
him and Teddy didn't talk to each other, they hate each other. They probably still don't
Yeah.
talk. I don't know.
Some of the interviews you see these days with Cowley and stuff like that, he doesn't do a lot of them. But a lot of the interviews you see, like he goes quite deep. He's a
Yeah,
deep thinker, Cowley, and
yeah,
stuff like that
yeah.
and
Like
all, you know, which is
watch.
something you wouldn't expect, like.
Yeah, like watching the overlap and finding out how he had the falling out
Mm,
with Newcastle and stuff like that. That was mad.
mm,
And obviously,
mm,
Keith Gillespie went the other way in the deal and stuff. Obviously, Keith was part of the class of '92, and he'll
mm,
be in Longford as well. He'll be playing for both teams. But it's mad. And like Andy doesn't. I know. Listen, we slag him the amount of chances he took to score goals, but I don't think he gets the credit he deserves as a Premier League striker. I don't think a lot of them do, to be honest. 'Cause he never took penalties. I think did you see the overlap with what he done?
Saying a bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, like he said, he didn't feel like it was a proper goal if he scored a penalty and stuff like that. And he again he scored 5 in that 9-0 goal win against Ipswich that time.
I wonder if he was playing now, would he feel the same with goal bonuses and all the rest of it?
That's
And all, you know?
that's what. It'd be interesting now. But yeah, he said he never
Yeah.
liked taking penalties because he didn't think it was a proper goal and stuff
Now
like
there's
that.
now there's such a big part of the game when you
Oh,
think about it.
100%.
You know,
Especially with
it's mad.
VAR and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, it
but
was interesting to get your thoughts. Go on, keep going.
no, I was just gonna say I'm looking forward to the documentary. Like, you know, it's
Yeah,
when you've had we had the high of winning the FA Cup, but overall the season wasn't great. So it's always nice to go back and be a bit
yeah.
nostalgic. I was watching a documentary about the Cliff United's old training ground there the other day, and it just brought back some memories. Like, you know,
Mm.
it'd be the same with you with Liverpool as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
But
absolutely. Look, I always think back that time as well, and everything was about like doubles, wasn't it?
yeah,
Like winning a league and cup double was huge.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And you had Arsenal and you had yourselves and all that kind of stuff. And then that treble happened, and it was massive at the time, I remember. And it was just, and like, I took dogs abuse for years. I worked with United lads all my life in Microsoft and stuff like that. And it just was endless and daily. And I mean daily. When lads talk about not going into work on a Monday after these things, if you seen me after that cup final with Cantona, forget about even the white suits. Forget about that.
yeah,
That was mild. I could deal with that. But of all the people as well to get that goal,
yeah.
Cantona, and it
And
was
like I said,
just
it wasn't a great final at all, wasn't it? And I think there was only
no.
about 10 minutes left or something when that corner came in, and he just put his.
Even less, I think. Even
Was it?
less.
Yeah, Rob. I think
Yeah,
was it Rob Jones kind of ducked out of the way and stuff like that. It went through about 5 or 6 players, like,
to
you
a
know.
clatter of players, and
Yeah,
it was just mad, and it was just man for months I had to listen to it. Months.
um,
Like lads would be walking by if you're wearing a polo shirt and they pull your collar up, like just non-stop, just non-stop.
and
You know what I
do you,
mean? And
do you know what I love about this? I've watched '99. I don't know if I'll be on it, but uh, during the week on MUTV they were showing all the FA Cup finals, and I don't know what the lads think, but I love going back and listening to the likes of Barry Davis and Trevor Brooking and John Motson and all. It really takes you back to that period
yeah,
and of
yeah.
your childhood and all. It's excellent, like, you know.
It's when the FA Cup was huge.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
when the FA Cup
absolutely.
really, really meant something, and
Yeah,
big clubs wanted to win it. It wasn't seen as that. Like if you think about the FA Cup in terms of that treble and stuff like that, how important it is.
yeah,
Like you know what I mean, and it's stacked up there. You know what I
yeah.
mean, and it's
I
yeah.
remember.
No, I can't understand it. That's why when I hear people talking about the domestic cups and stuff like that and all, and running them down and stuff like that, the FA Cup for me was just that whole build up. And as I
Yeah.
said on Saturday, I'd love to have been at Wembley, for Liverpool to be there. So I love the FA Cup.
Oh, it's great. I remember '94 when we played Chelsea. I ended up doing my communion that day, and I had the United, I had a red blazer on, and United tie and all. And do you remember "Come On You Reds"? The song was #1 for about 8 or 9 weeks, and be on top of the pops and everything. It was unreal. Like,
Yeah, the songs I mentioned that last week on the thread. I was putting up the John Barnes one and the rap ones and all
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. And he was actually doing it last week for Klopp send
I
off. He was on
seen that
stage and
Klopp
Klopp was
joined
up
in and
dancing
all.
with him.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I think you're right, Alan.
yeah,
Characters as well,
100%.
but
Alan.
I think probably the way the social side of life is gone and stuff like that. It's probably not that there isn't characters in the league. It's now because with social media and everything now, you have to be
The
so
less,
guarded,
yeah,
and because the slightest little thing and just it's just a tidal wave of stuff. So lads just can't be themselves anymore. As a matter of fact, it's gas, isn't it? When lads try to be themselves, we actually sometimes now think it's kind of strange.
yeah,
You
and
know
like.
what I mean? It's like, what are you doing?
And a
Kind of
lot,
thing.
a lot of these players are athletes now, and they're brands, and they can't do certain
Yeah.
things in case it tarnishes or ruins the brands as well. It's
And
terrible.
they don't have the time to live even.
Yeah,
They're so
yeah.
caught up in stuff at the moment. As you said, Dennis and the boys going down to the pub and all
And
that kind of stuff. That ain't happening. That
And
just
Dennis,
does not happen.
and Dennis says he meets up with Brian Robson and Norman Whiteside and all these lads
Mm,
every few weeks. They still meet up down the local
yeah.
pub wherever they all live in, just
Mm.
outside Manchester and all. They still meet up. It's part of the culture and it's what keeps them tight. Like,
It's and you know something, at a time where mental health is such a huge thing, if you didn't have that,
mm,
you know, that fall from grace when you've hit such heights like that treble and stuff like that,
yeah,
to suddenly then retire. And like, if you're not a coach, or if you're not a manager, or if you're not involved in the game, or if the club doesn't use you as an ambassador, if you're not on MUTV or whatever it is, like, you're just that guy who goes
yeah,
down to the shop. You're just that guy who brings the kids to school,
yeah,
or whatever it is, and that must be really difficult. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why it's so important to like your teammates and that bond. That's probably a bit of game of golf or whatever it is, or snooker
That's
or
it.
whatever it is. That's probably what keeps you ticking over,
Yeah,
that you don't have those moments in rounds where you go, remember that, remember
yeah,
that, and you're thinking, would love to be back there again. And you hear all these players at the moment earning in a month probably what you earned in a year, and it's like, I wish I was playing now, and you see,
yeah.
you go down that rabbit hole of
Well,
discontent and all, and
I do always say, cause as well, you look at the lads now that are playing, they won't have to do after dinner speeches or meet and greets and all this, like, and it's a pity because it gives the fans an opportunity to meet these guys, that sort of way. But they won't have to do it because the amount of money bandied around nowadays is unbelievable.
yeah, but see the other side of it as well, when you think about how it's going to evolve as well. Like, at the moment, you'll meet Dennis Irwin or whoever it is, and they've great stories about
Yeah,
what went on, stuff like that. Nothing goes on with these guys, so there
yeah,
ain't no stories.
yeah.
You know what I
Hey,
mean? Like, it's
I once seen Jesse Lingard dance in the change room with Paul Pogba.
yeah, and
Great, yeah, nice one.
but you know what I mean. It's kind of like you see it there, as Alan said. It's void of personality. You're basically just stone cold in the face. You're
Yeah,
presenting yourself as a brand. When these guys retire, who's going to be going to their after dinner things, stuff like that, to hear that?
yeah,
Yeah, I had this sponsorship with Gucci or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah.
No one's going to
I,
care. They want to hear what happened. Remember, you kicked the player off the bus and this all went
yeah,
down, and
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? These are the stories. They don't exist anymore
I,
because none of it
yeah,
probably happens.
and I think one of the last kind of characters I can remember in the Premier League, and obviously he's retired now, Jimmy Bullard. Obviously does a lot of stuff. He's probably
Yeah,
one of the last characters you can remember playing the Premier League. After that, it's just mundane, and like I said, all these
yeah,
athletes that are kind of brands coming in. I think he
yeah.
was one of the last. But every team had them. You look at Arsenal, the likes of Parler
Mm,
and Merson and stuff like that. And obviously Chelsea had their players down the years as well. It's the Canio, yeah. You look at
mm,
Fowler, like I say, Bullard. Um,
yeah,
it's just like I'd love to see a day where we get characters like that back, but we all know it's never going to happen, and that's such a shame.
yeah, yeah. It's mad. Like, it's mad when you think we were so lucky at the time to grow up in that Premier League kind of period and stuff like that as well, and to experience these guys. Even the last Legends game, I was at the John Hartson one and stuff like that. And you talk to John Hartson, and you can talk about the bust up on the training ground and all the carry
Yeah,
on, and he loves reflecting on it as well. Because obviously he's gone through his own battles and stuff like that with the cancer and all that
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of stuff. Now, but they're so appreciated of your interest in it as well. And they've probably spoke about it a million times,
yeah, yeah.
but with them, it just seems to never get old.
Oh, they do. They
You know what I
love
mean?
telling the stories because
Yeah,
each time they tell them, it's a different set of ears listening, and
yeah, it is.
they're it's unreal.
Yeah,
And like I said, I'm
yeah,
looking forward to now the 15th of June. It should be a bit of crack.
yeah,
And Mike Phelan, like I said, it's coming over to get the
mm,
stories off him being Sir
yeah,
Alex's right hand man.
yeah,
Is going to be
yeah.
unreal.
I love as well the way the stories evolve. So from every time they tell them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that little bit more comes out, that little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
more gets added on and stuff like that as
And
well.
then
Yeah.
there might be one in the see that's what we all call Al is John Harton.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Because he,
Very
he
good.
he looks as similar to John. I'm not gonna say that Al. You're a better player than John was anyway, Al. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a few other names coming over towards the end of the year that I haven't met and haven't had a chat with. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
meeting them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, listen, that's it. Another
That's
show.
it.
Another show
Just
done.
before we
So,
go. Yeah.
but
There
one
we go.
more time. One more time. Did you get it engraved yet? No?
Not yet, not yet. I'll do that. I'll do that during the week. Actually, the real FA
Absolutely.
Cup isn't engraved.
There you
It's
go.
only the Premier
There you go.
League and the Champions League gets engraved.
Very good. Yeah, so that's it. Another show in the bag. So, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the bell notification button. I will be back on
That's
Wednesday.
right, Al. See what Al wrote there. Sorry, cuz, for cutting across you.
It was like our attitude there. It
Yeah,
was. It
spot on.
was.
Spot on.
Absolutely, 100%. So yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday. Pro Wrestling Weekly. We'll be reviewing King and Queen of the Ring and Double or Nothing. Plenty to talk about in that. Absolutely chaotic. I'll be back on Thursday with Darren, where we'll be doing a full preview for the Champions League, and we'll be also talking transfers, which should be interesting. One Marcus Rashford linked with Arsenal and all that kind of good stuff. God knows, some United fans would drive them to London, dare say, others not so much. But we'll be talking about that as well. So plenty going on at the moment. A couple of shows, good shows coming up and stuff like that. So until next time, cuz a pleasure as always. Thank you to
Cheers,
everyone in
cuz.
the chat, and we'll talk to you again
Thanks,
real
lads.
soon. Cheers.